Hello, I'm Martin Hughes. It's April 2020 and this is SpokeScreen. There's a long-standing tradition in this country, a subculture of music, art and poetry, a subculture that is, like everything else, under lockdown due to current circumstances. Pubs, clubs, cafes, libraries and festivals where spoken word performances took place are all now closed, events postponed until further notice. For just over a year now, Barz and I have been running Spoke in the Lamp, a monthly spoken word event at the Lamp in Brown Hills, where we've been entertaining and been entertained by an army of poets and performers who are now confined, like the rest of us, but still bursting with warm, wise and witty words. Words that they've recorded, especially for SpokeScreen, a new online anthology of performances. This month, we're featuring several spots from our guest, R.M. Francis, who will be launching his new novel, Bella, along with other participants from our culture of creators and performers. So without further final from me, I'll hand you over to our host, the man without whom none of this would be happening. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Barz.
Help me, please help me see reason, since my spirit's depletion. I'm worried right now. Let's stop the flow of time tonight. Let's trudge on to Eden and relish the season, 'cause I'm worried right now.
Thank you, Martin Hughes. Martin is my right-hand man at Brown Hills Community Centre, where we usually run, under normal circumstances, Spoke in the Lamp, and the Lamp is their theatre space. Great place, you should go to Brown Hills Community Centre. The part one of this SpokeScreen is going to be featuring Rob Francis, R.M. Francis, who's written his new novel, Bella, and this is his first novel. He is also a PhD from Wolverhampton University, where he teaches creative writing, creative and professional writing, and last year he became the writer in residence at Oxford University. Also in part one there'll be a piece from me called Corona Control about this situation, and a wonderful film produced marvellously by Jonathan Watkins for Mel Wardle Woodend, who is the Staffordshire Poet Laureate. Here's Rob Francis.
This is a reading from my debut novel, Bella, which is out now with Wild Pressed Books. This first reading is from the character Stan. Bella stories have been about since the 1950s, they? Maybe earlier than that. Salt wells and Bella and all that get under our skin here, they do. Like us on the edge of us. Everyone's got a story. Most of them billy bullshitters, they? Our Michelle's different though, Me and her nan have looked after her since her was a bab. Her dad's inside and her mum's dead. That's all I'm telling. Do you get me? Now, the night her dad, my own son, got took in by the coppers, our Michelle, only 3 I was, I went missing, I got out somehow. Found her way down Lodge Hill and made her way into Saltwells, We don't know what happened, but they found her out in Saltwells Woods, at the Witch Elm in tears. Screaming and blarting I was, were her. I was in shock, they said. Took her nan about 3 hours to calm her down, and I had to sup 6 pints before I did, To this day, no one knows what happened. How did it get out? Why did it get to the Witch Elm? To this day, no one knows. Me and her nan have promised to not tell her a thing, we? We'll play along with the stories and whatnot, but we won't hear the truth of that night, and her won't hear what her old man did to her mum. Her nan enjoys herself with it, and makes fun out the tales, I'll just stay quiet. Bella gets to all of us in some way though, Our Michelle's different though, You'll hear her say, I need to know and I've got to find out. He'll say, we all know the stories, don't we? Who wants to figure it out proper, her does. You'll hear her talking to the wenches in Turners and the old blokes who used to bait the woods and never let it go. Like there's a trace from that night that's infected her, ain't it?
Rob Francis from Bella with Stan. And now it's me. I need no introduction. I'm old Barz. Care on a viral tweet stops you dancing with the guys in the street. There's no prancing, there's no romancing, there's only glancing at one you'd like to meet. Safe from a hidden burn, you shut them out. Take another and another turn at throwing dice about where no one sees, without electron microscopes of doubt enabling us to learn. And closeted in a duvet shell, only your breathing, only your solitary smell, and the pain of teething keeps out the seething of those believing you have entered hell, and you want this hour to release your fears. Step into a shower, wash off the years of dread and sneers, and with some viral shears, cut down every leader's power. And now, that wonderful film from Mel Wardle Woodend and Jonathan Watkins directing Beautiful. Watch.
Castle on the hill, memories of days gone by, time stands still. Survey the land from high on a crumbling wall, all the town at my feet. Hills of Shropshire to the west, echoes of concerts from the past at Bingley Hall away to the east. The potter's fire kilns to the north, heat permeates beautiful clay creations they have made. And to the south, streams and trees teem with wildlife amid coarse bracken in wild shades of green. On Cannock Chase, where as a child I and my father before me played. Always told to stick to the path, for fear of adders and potholes, the latter caused by all the mines nearby, where miners search through darker days for coal. In days gone by, Stafford town itself laid claim to an industry of shoes. Lotus lined the Sandham Road, and on Common Road at Evoed they manufactured glue. Now, Bostik, they still do. Stafford Jail remains standing on Jail Road. Heavy walls heave with the weight of wicked crimes that lie within. In past times, crowds gathered and crowed, watching prisoners hang in the gallows, facing truth for their sin. The old British reinforced concrete site, once a hive of industry, was reduced to rubble, to make way for new houses in place of the old factory. My nostalgic trip around Stafford would definitely not be complete if I didn't mention the English Electric Company of old, known simply as EE. You see, my grandpa worked there before I was born. He was an electrical engineer and inventor. He visualised, he imagined, he saw the future, creating electrical measuring systems, and he built one of the first TVs. English Electric's gone by many names over the decades. GEC, GE, Alstom in the 90s when my mum worked there too, but I think I'll always remember it as the old EE. I'm proud to know that my grandpa and other engineers like him must have guessed the future. Looking back now in retrospect, I wonder how any of us could have known how far technology would take us after those first TV sets, in enormous cabinets with a small screen but a huge bulbous tube, showing programmes by the BBC, 1 and 2. There was no Channel 4, 5, ITV satellite cable or Freeview. There was no Google to search, man was just setting foot on the moon. The internet not invented, and a computer would take up the space of an entire room, not fit in your hand. And Stafford fits in my hand and parts rest in my heart. As I look back to the past and see our futures, on the faces of family members of days gone by in industry striving and working hard.
Joyce. I still have nightmares. Most nights that witch elm appears in my dreams with its twisting, spindly spiger leg branches all coiled and curled into each other, ferreting their way out of that hulk of trunk, all wet, brown, mossy. It loomed over the place. It looms over my dreams. I could be dreaming of all sorts of lovely things, big feasts, lottery wins, family parties, whatever. Then it'll come. The witch elm calls. The dream breaks with the sight of those old fractured factories, the ruins and waste grounds of concrete, brick and rust, and then the tiny path that leads between the empty works and into salt wells. It's a dream when you walk it now, really. You go from the little row of shops with neon lights, people putting the gas on their cards, buying their Friday chips, traffic passing outside, past the church and round through the terraces in Derby End. Then you face the grey and orange of the decayed metalwork machines. You cut through it, and suddenly you're not in Netherton. You're in the green and brown, the moist dirt of salt wells. You trip up on nature. Nature trips you up. Anon. I was in the Bull most nights. We all went for at least a couple. We sit her a few times and we day trust her. It was me what pointed it out to Alfred. You spot a stranger a mile off round here. We'm together. We look after each other. We go to the same church, the same pub, the same factory floor. We'm the same. We'm together. I won't say we enjoyed it. It had to be done. But we was proud in a way. We was proud of each blow. Each time the birch came down on that harlot's flesh.
So we come to the end of the first part, and the second part is coming up in a minute. Welcome to part 2, and this is the open mic section, and we've got, in order of appearance, Ian Henry, Dale Parnell, Arun Kapoor, Mel Woodend, Gerald Kells, Ian Davies, Grace Dorr, and Sandra Chambers. And then we'll finish up with the last reading from R.M. Francis on Bella by the book. Details at the end. Okay.
Hello, my name is Ian Henry. I'm from Walsall. These are strange times, aren't they? Coronavirus, something that we've never experienced before. New chapter of history. I like to read a poem. It's published in the current edition of Black Country Connection. It's about love. To get us through, we need love. This is a love poem, but don't worry about that. It's called You Are. You are the first blush of a bride's cheek, the promise of payday next week. You are. You are the first fluff on a young man's chin, the hangover from a bottle of gin. You are. You are the knowing smile of first conceived motherhood, the fire that courses through my blood. You are. And when dreams are all around my feet, courage fails, heart misses a beat, drowning, I'm lost in a storm, wondering who is keeping my bed warm. You are. And when the kids are all grown up, old, rushing to beer in an egg cup, deaf, but never to an electric guitar, wondering who is waiting. You are. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dale Parnell, and this is a new poem called To Breathe Freely. These are not the days we imagined, nor the hours and minutes we planned, each diary line annotated and informed. Every restless desire burns briefly, and the anxiety of 1,000 opportunities missed plagues me. Unspoken words sitting like dried husks on my tongue, stoking fires that only cold beer can extinguish. A way to trick the mind that time has passed, that this won't last, and all our plays have not been written in needless waste. And the nights, held back from sleep, are haunted by long-forgotten ghosts resurrected, faces lifted from the pyre and cast in new roles that break my teeth and stab my back and burn the edges of the waking world. And though my instinct is to fill every void with light and sound and action, all I crave is silence. A vast, clean stillness from the world and from my mind, and a chance to breathe freely. Look then to your window, to the green and white, reaching up to powder blue, to joyful shrieks and songbird calls that test a sleepless soul. There are no answers there, nor in sleep or endless banquet, but merely a moment's reprieve and a chance to breathe freely. Thank you.
You never said, I'm leaving. You never said goodbye. You were gone before I knew it, and only God knew why. 1,000,000 times I needed you, 1,000,000 times I cried. If love alone could have saved you, you would never have died. In life I loved you dearly, in death I loved you still. In my heart you hold a place that no one could ever fill. It broke my heart to lose you, but you didn't go alone, for a part of me went with you the day God took you home. Now, my reply, don't grieve for me, for now I'm free. I'm following the path God has laid, you see. I took his hand when I heard his call. I turned my back and left it all. I could not stay another day, to laugh, to love, to work or play. Tasks left undone must stay that way. I found the peace at the close of day. If my parting has left a void, then fill it with remembered joys. A friendship shared, a laugh, a kiss. Yes, these things I will miss. Be not burdened with times of sorrow. I wish you the sunshine of tomorrow. My life's been full, I've savoured much. Good friends, good times, a loved one's touch. Don't leaven it with undue grief. Lift up your hearts and peace to thee. God wanted me now, gave me my wings, and finally set me free.
Hello, my name's Mel Wardle Woodend, and I'm the Staffordshire Poet Laureate 2019 to 2021. I'm here this afternoon to share a video with you, and it's all about the way I feel about books and reading and what an escapism it can be. It's called A Good Book. There is nothing quite like it, an escape from everything where just by reading an old bit of scroll, time flies out of this world completely out of control. It doesn't matter if you're young or you're old, books smell just the same. A musty, aged dustiness or a delicious fresh new page. If I walk into a bookshop, you've lost me for hours. Please don't rush me as I browse and browse and browse. I've been known to pick up a bargain, but never just one or two. An addiction. I cart them all round town before coming home to you. Not more books, you groan, as our shelving almost implodes, with the weight of my new editions adding to the load. But the pleasure of reading cannot be surpassed. An alternative world where characters become friends. You feel for them, you cry for them, and you're lost when it ends. But books are more than a pleasure device. They are a tool for learning, for opening opportunities into your life. Books bring richness and spice, whatever you are yearning. You're never alone with a book nearby. Settle comfortably into your favourite chair or anywhere you find, as you slip into the pages and from this life unwind. You meet new friends within the pages of a loving book. Adventures are timeless, a treasure hunt, a war romance, a crime-filled mystery to solve. So jump right in, begin, start devouring the words as your imagination unfolds.
For the benefit of Barz and SpokeScreen, 3 Lake District poems from my garden. Encounter with a sheep near Buttermere. The mother, sensing her lamb was not there, limped towards the other sheep, one and then another, who ignored her, chewing with their bleak black lambs. The missing lamb had found its way forwardly into a melange of adults, kids, buggies, and once there ingested the attention of all those maternal, cooing humans wanting a camera shot with their newborn too. The mother, realizing the situation, bleated helplessly, "I want my infant back," but to no avail. What loss if older, scruffier, the lambs rejected dead? A man must focus, kneeling on a sunshine path. The second poem, and they're all in my book, 51 poems written for my wife, is called At Old Dungeon Gill. Here are the couple contemplating both fell, eyes into their Wainwright, dewy with anticipation. Here are the couple, she's just done Jack's rate, thinks it's the epitome of human achievement. Here are the couple, Norwegian and English, off on a shopping trip and crinkled crags tomorrow. Each of these people discovering a landscape inside the landscape that's outside this door. And here I am also not sure what I'm seeing, unable to see fully since I'm lost without you. And lastly, Scale fell, where I hope after lockdown can go back. Scale Force. The path is rusted red from clodhopper boots. The bridge is bolted through with rigid iron. The side of the hill is laced with brown tracks cut by children running, yelling, caught short when clambering the mountain ribs into this cleft of tight-packed trees and dank rock, a hidden-away place, a cathedral, high-vaulted under His Holiness the sky. God's water, thin and righteous, falls so clear, a singular shaft of white that hangs in space, a kind of machine of wonder, a hidden pool which gathers water at an altar stone, then tumbles strands of pearled opacity on rocks that never should have been climbed. Barz, SpokeScreen, thank you very much.
Header. There it was that Maxey, one night in a taxi, asked, "Where you going, son?" But I couldn't riposte, as all my life I'd felt lost, so I just mumbled, "Wherever you fancy." Then without pause she set us forth in a general forward direction. But deceptive this seemed, because by 3:30 we were going back to where I was before. Now perplexed, I turned, looking as stern as my apathy would allow me to appear. Said, "Maxey, what the fuck? Do you think I'm as dumb as a duck?" As at last minute, she made a right turn. I hadn't seen, whilst venting my spleen, the calculation behind her eyes. She knew without asking I'd long been basking in an ignorance as deep as a ravine, which I used in kind to keep me blind to the fact of my lack of control over the road ahead and the fear and dread to where I might have arrived.
Said then Maxie, "Go on, ask me," as she saw my look of surprise. "You're wondering how you came here now, how I knew where that town would be. It's because although we always like to show we're masters of our fates, in this delusion we never find solution, because the true answer is letting go." And in a strange way, I have to say, somewhere deep, this made sense. Just the simple idea of letting go of fear brought calm for the rest of my days. So now on my travels, I let things unravel and flow with the twists and turns. Now I've developed the art of letting go at the start of my journeys. Life's no longer a hassle. Happy trails. Feeling dangerous in open spaces. Risk factor 50 under blazing sun. You can see it on everyone's faces. Them trying to remember how it's done. Tradition be damned in this new utopia. Shackles removed from social laws. Now is when Moira release us into a self-inflicted destiny. Meaning, therefore, we can ride the snake child into the Isle of bread and milk. Need veggies too. The snake is long, 2 meters long, and on my phone I keep a list, see, 'cause if I forget tea and coffee also, I'll have naught to drink, 'cept from the sink. If we don't soon move on, I know the beans will all be gone.
Hi, my name is Grace Dorr and my poem is called We Are. We're all special, we're all unique. There is no one on this planet quite the same as you or me. You and me are one-offs. No one has our thoughts, to portray or see things our way, the capacity to feel exactly as we do. No one. No one has our eyes, mind or soul to move and progress the way we do on this planet. That is why each one of us are special. All of our lives are precious, and we all have the right to be here, to live and share on this earth, breathe the cool air, feel the breeze on our skin, see the stars, the planets in their own space, animals thriving and growing, sometimes disappearing. We see vibrant colours, greens of plants and leaves. We hear the rustling wind in the trees, bird songs so mellow and sweet, absorbing the sky's vastness and beauty. We are part of that. We are connected to the universe. Each one of us. We may be built the same inside, needing a heart and intricate organs to stay alive. Yes, that's true. But there is no one on this earth quite like me and you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sandra Chambers from Penkridge, and this is my poem for World Poetry Day. It's an African praise poem. Now, an African praise poem doesn't rhyme, and it's full of statements about someone of great stature. There has to be 6 elements to an African praise poem, and they are heritage, height, colour, animal, nature, and walk. So that's what I've attempted to do. Here we go. I hope you enjoy it. Hail, great silver-crowned king, wise man of the lush green forests, burnt golden plains, glistening ice sheets, deep oceans blue. demigod of the natural world. Hail David Attenborough, towering intellect with 32 degrees, observations of the animal kingdom unsurpassed. Many moons ago, trekking to discover the fearsome Komodo dragon, astonishing displays by the birds of paradise, all in black and white. Up to present day revelations, explosions of colour on our blue planet, where vanishing species struggle to survive. Do whales weep? Gorillas cry? Do polar bears tread a sorrowful path? In your honour, name species of daisy, lizard, fossil, beetle, shrimp, spider, and butterfly. Globe-trotter extraordinary, most travelled human in history, possibly. For 9 decades you have roamed the earth, 250,000 miles across every continent, and we have been able to travel with you over land, underwater, through the air, in awe and wonder at the beauty of our living world. Hail, David Attenborough, sir. We have so much to be grateful for. You opened our eyes, great silver-crowned king of planet Earth. Thank you for listening.
Tim. Honestly, I had all sorts back at the truck stop. That's what I called it. Big men, old men, all sorts. And sometimes more than one, and sometimes it'd be like a little show with them all around watching, like. It was just off the main road, so the traffic would be getting on with its usual business, and McDonald's and the BP garage carried on the day-to-day. Just off the main road, like, was a track, lightless, cut off with a thick rusty chain and padlock. About 100 metres down was the yard, a tipping ground for unwanted tat, piles of brittle exhaust pipes sat next to moss-covered fridges, next to mounds of black torn tyres and towers of moulding pallets. All this tat neatly arranged. Then the truck cab, my truck stop. There was a pub up the road from the truck stop where the bikers hung out. Mick had introduced me, like, when they came home from holiday. That's how they knew what I was like, 'cause Mick was too. Most of the bikers were just bikers, like a solid group that'd nod hello and say how do, pay the round at the bar and watch your back as good as me dad would. But some of the bikers were only dressed like bikers. You could tell which, 'cause they didn't have the wear and tear on their boots and jackets, like. That's when I learned about the leathers. Honestly, they taught me things. Like, the leathers had gestures and symbols and you had to learn them. Me and Dave had picked some up from the toilet traders. The same rules applied with this lot. They'd just come out and say it. A carefully placed handkerchief, a particular colour poking out of a specific pocket. That'd tell you all you needed to know. You needed a decent memory, like. The whole hanky code was complicated. I mean, the gays are just going to have one shade of blue and one shade of green, aren't they? Honestly, if you were careful, you'd be in for a proper surprise too. Confuse lavender with magenta and you'd confuse drag with armpit fetish. Not an easy ask in the corner of a dark pub. I was still a tourist then. Most of them got that. Most of them enjoyed it. I guess I still am, really. Honestly, it's more about a particular mood, a particular and peculiar sense. I don't want to end up in clubs like the Nightingale or Gorgeous, getting off with a twink while his girls from the salon giggle, 'cause it's nice to be out with the gays, eh it, Trace? Safe, eh it? Hey, watch that dyke, Trace, has got her eye on you. I don't want that, like. Don't want Disney gay, safe for the families, like. I want the accidental catching of a bloke taking the shortcut past the bins, the lad who's parked up on the brown land where the chimneys used to pump 4 moons into the air. To be honest, it's more than just being gay. It's a gay that could only come from where we do.
Well, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed our first foray into a video anthology of poetry. If you have, log into Facebook, look on SpokeScreen. Thank you to Sam Cooper for providing the backing music. Wonderful stuff. And thank you to all the participants. And I hope you have a great time in the summer. Maybe see you next month if there's another one. Maybe.
I can't see when the darkness overcomes me, but Leonard, he told me, and he showed me how. His sermon, there's a crack in everything, and that's how the light gets in. So why worry now? I prize, I won't mistreat you with lies, 'cause I'm one of the good guys. But I'm worried right now. I turned back time tonight, I remember so clearly all who wronged me dearly. So I'm worried right now.